Welcome to the JVC Kenwood press conference at IBC 2018. I hope you've enjoyed your small lunch to get you through another day at IBC. As you may know, we have a number of, I think, very exciting and important product announcements at this IBC. I think it's going to be a very significant development for us over the coming months and coming years. And I will, of course, explain all of that in a little bit more detail shortly. Firstly, however, I'd like to introduce Takao Suji, who's our Chairman and CEO of JVC Kenwood Corporation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Takao Tsuji, Chairman and CEO of JVC Kenwood. Approximately 30 months passed since I became CEO. During that period, JVC Kenwood has been transforming very much and rapidly under the concept of JK 3.0. JK 3.0. That is the third generation of JVC Kenwood. Now I'd like to briefly explain about JK 3.0. Number one is we became customer value creator. Customer value creator. By providing our customers with cutting-edge solutions. Number two, we redefine ourselves as technology-based company. Technology-based company. As you may know, we have 11,000 IPs, including 7,000 plus effective patents. And number three is we are open innovation company. Those three are the essence of JK 3.0. Effective 1st of April this year, not April Fool, seriously, we have new president and COO, Mr. Eguchi. Unfortunately, he is on the plane on the way here, and he will get in this evening. And with this new president, we are stepping further and more aggressively we are chasing to this transformation, and we call it JK 3.1. As you know, a long time ago, you remember Windows 3.0. That gave a big shock to the society. But Windows 3.1 was more successful. So now JK 3.1 should be more successful. So today, I'm very pleased and excited to make announcement of new connected Comm lineups. And especially handy HCC, I may call, handy connected Comm is making a debut here in IBC. And this connected Comm is not only a platform, but also this is end-to-end ecosystem. And I'm not good at explaining all the details, so I will pass the rest to John Kelly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Suji-san. So yes, my name is John Kelly, General Manager for EMEA Professional Business. And I'd like to take you through our new product announcements and key features that we're showing at IBC this year. So, firstly, I think maybe to say, what do we see, generally speaking, as technology trends at this IBC? Well, very much the requirement for cost-effective production, and particularly live production. In many areas for sports, live events, production costs are being driven down, with budgets are reducing, so the ability to create cost-effective, perhaps IP-based live systems is very important moving forward. And that transition to IP, of course, as we well know, is happening throughout the industry in all of its various facets and areas, whether it's for acquisition, content management, and so forth. And also what we see is that growth in non-traditional content creators, and of course delivery not just to traditional broadcast television, but to OTT and online audiences. And we'd like to think that as we develop our solutions, including Connected Cam, that we're very much addressing those core markets. So our approach then is, as Tsuchi-san said, also to provide an end-to-end production system, IP-based, for acquisition, for switching, for content management and delivery. So whether, for example, that's for sports, or for news, or for any kind of live event, that's the area as a solution provider that we are focused upon. And within that connected car world, and don't worry so much about the detail for now, and I'll explain a little bit as we go on, then we are fulfilling what we see as some of the key areas for that. So whether it's actual production equipment, cameras, camcorders and so forth, the connectivity to achieve perhaps a bonded cellular solution, the ability to control and manage that system over the internet, and the ability to work with that content within a studio environment. We're really at this IBC bringing all of those aspects of production together into one sort of coherent workflow. And a key part of that really is our new connected camcorders. So I'm sure you've all seen the press releases on Connected Cam. Of course, all the models, particularly the new HC500 and 550, are on the booth. So, of course, encourage you to come and have a look. And I think what I'd like to firstly convey is, what are the key technology benefits of Connected Cam? Of course, as camcorders themselves, they're excellent, high-performing imaging, but it's really around that IP feature set and delivery, which JVC Kenwood is excelling in, and the ability to deliver content over IP. So the new Connected Cam range allows us to do very high bitrate streaming at high resolution, up to 1080p now. That streaming is also under very low latency, which of course is important for live application. And also they support both IFB audio return over IP and actually also return video over IP. So if you're doing a sort of 2A, for example, news in the field, then you can achieve that seamlessly through a single IP connection. And also we can do what we call auto FTP, which is sort of almost as live FTP file transfer. So effectively you start FTP file transferring while you're actually recording that particular file. And that's, again, maybe for news broadcasters, for example, quite a unique and powerful solution about getting content back to the studio in time. So, as you may know, NEB earlier this year, we announced the GUI HC900, which is a B4 mount, 3 2/3 inch high resolution CMOS sensor camcorder. So in the form factor of a, let's say, traditional shoulder mount camcorder, but adding in that new Connected Cam codec engine, which allows us to do all of the IP capability that we mentioned earlier. Also supporting HDR formats, and through that new encoder or codec engine, supporting up to 10-bit 422 recording. And actually, this new Connected Cam range is the first 10-bit cameras that we've released into the market. So what we have now here new at IBC this year is the new HC500 and 550 cameras. So launching here for the very first time, as I mentioned, they are on the booth. And this is also fulfilling let's say, quite growing market in the 1-inch 4K camcorder sector. So this is a sort of, let's say, mid-size handheld camcorder, which obviously you can see here physically, is very much a growing and important sector of the professional camera market. And again, this is the first time we've addressed this particular market with the new HC500 series connected cam. So the camera has, I think, an excellent physical design. We spent a lot of time working with broadcasters and other key customers to get the physical and ergonomic design. So as a physical camera, in terms of the feeling and the weight and the balance and the button arrangement, I think it's excellent in that regard. It's got a very high quality 20 times lens with full 3-ring control, good sensitivity. And recording onto a choice of either SD memory card or optionally SSD also through the slot we have here at the back of the camera. And that gives you very high bitrate recording at 10-bit 422 using the Apple ProRes codec. So you get very high quality recording built into the camera. That, of course, is recording up to 50 or 60p in 4K resolution. And as I mentioned, on the IP side of things, you have the same kind of connectivity and IP capabilities we saw before. So 1080p streaming, up to 20 megabits per second. That's low latency with that return video over IP, with IFB audio over IP. And we would therefore consider it's very much, or absolutely is, the most powerful IP capability of any production camera in the market today. And putting that and achieving that within such a sort of relatively compact body, as you can see here, I think is a great achievement by our excellent engineers. Just to mention also on the sort of back of the camera, we're now expanding the physical connectivity. So we now have, for example, an RJ45 type Ethernet, so as well as our USB, which we previously had, and the HC550 model also has dual Wi-Fi MIMO antennas to give you a very powerful and reliable local Wi-Fi signal. So as I mentioned, there are sort of two models in the range, the 500 and the 550. And the 550, over all of those core features we mentioned, adds in a number of, again, really unique features which only JVC can offer. So one thing which you may have seen from some of our previous models is broadcast graphics overlay, so the ability to actually overlay a graphic within the camera. So maybe for a press conference, for example, something like this with a speaker name, that's all achievable within the camera itself, and that can go out to the live stream. It can go out via your SDI or HDMI output, or indeed be recorded to media. Some additional codecs, MPEG-2 and MXF, also support for the ZXI protocol, which gives you very resilient streaming if you're in a challenging cellular environment. So ZXI is excellent for supporting that kind of environment. Built-in GPS, and then, as I mentioned, on the 550, the dual Wi-Fi antennas for that local Wi-Fi support. So I think we think that the addition of the 500 and the 550 to the connected cam series of cameras, which started with the HC900, puts us in a very powerful position within that camcorder market, and as I say, the IP capability we achieve, I think, is unrivaled in the market. So that's it from the acquisition side. So of course, I mentioned earlier that we're trying to provide a complete end-to-end solution. So at IBC this year, we're also announcing a number of other IP connectivity solutions for studio use, for production use, to really bring all of those parts together, and with, of course, the cameras as a key part of that. So one example of that is the system we see here, the SFE system for short, which basically is a system which creates a local Wi-Fi network for which you can attach or connect multiple cameras over Wi-Fi, so it could be 2 or 3 HC500s or 550s, for example, and then creates a bonded cellular link to the outside world. And in combination with a debonding router, that means you can create a very, very cost-effective live IP production system. So if you're doing, for example, a sports event or some small corporate event where you need multiple camera channels, so this is a unique point really, you could connect multiple cameras into the single Wi-Fi hotspot, then the system we have here achieves that. So you have a very reliable bonded system with multiple camera support. You can connect any camera, or certainly any JVC camera indeed, to that Wi-Fi network, and then use the bonding. So, as I mentioned, for those kind of applications, it really is a unique solution at this particular price point. And a couple of other sort of IP system components to highlight, which we have in the booth here and we're introducing, is a new decoder, the BRD900, which supports 264, 265, decoding up to 1080, 50 or 60p, with cross conversion, with SDI and HDMI output. So this is perhaps the final stage when you are doing your live transmission, you've received your content back, and then of course you're decoding back to SDI. Then another interesting system product we introduced also is the what we call the Z-Ramp product, which is using that ZXI technology that I mentioned earlier, which is very efficient over low bandwidth networks. And this is a small standalone broadcaster unit which gives you control over up to 4 streams under the ZXI protocol. So again, another part of the system where you can connect multiple cameras and have a very cost-effective streaming solution. So as you can see, and of course, as, you know, today we have only a very brief amount of time to try and explain the systems, but you can see we've covered through connected cam, some of the core field equipment. We have the support for bonded solutions through the bridge system we have here, and through ZXI for broadcast IP control, and decoding means we really can address all part of this, the production chain, from acquisition through content delivery IP, and then decoding back to video. So moving on quickly to just to very briefly touch upon production monitors. It is an area, as you will know, we've been very successful with for many years as JVC, and we are introducing and showing now a couple of core and new 4K models, the DTU31 and the 31 Pro, and this is respectively a UHD and a native 4K unit. And these are very much in the feeling or style of the production monitors you may know from JVC, very reliable, high quality but affordable production solutions. So we think for post-production, whereas I think a big market for 4K monitoring, which is only really addressed by relatively high-end solutions at the moment. This gives a much more affordable solution with 10-bit panel and 12-bit processing with 12G, quad 3G input, and many other features to support you know, normal production customers, whether it's in an OB environment or whether, as I say, it's, for example, in a post-production studio. So, in summary, we would like to think that at this IBC we are offering a pretty unique, actually, end-to-end affordable IP solution. So whether you are live production customer in sports, news, or other live event environment, leading of course with those key new connected cam models, the HC500 and the 550, obviously adding to the HC900, which will be shipping very shortly, the SFE IP bridge system, also with the StreamStar range of live production monitors which we have in the booth, and also combined at the end with this latest generation 4K monitoring. So, as I mentioned, everything, of course, in the booth. If you haven't been there already, very much welcome you to come, and I think that's all, and obviously welcome any questions.
John, could you just explain the bonded side again? Does that include the SIMs? Or
Yes, so there are SIMs that go into the unit, yeah, so you can have Vodafone or T-Mobile, for example, and that will go into the system, and then it's obviously managing through the what's called the Speed Fusion technology. It's managing the bonded protocol.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So on the production monitors, I saw that it's got 100% of Rec 709 and up to 83% of Rec 2020.
Yeah.
How long is that color stability expected to be calibratable?
I wouldn't know personally the answer to that question in terms of, you mean over time?
Yeah.
I'm not sure over time, but one thing it does have is built-in calibration via USB on the front. So it's a very easy and convenient calibration method. So you just put the probe in the front, connect via USB, and run the auto calibration. So it makes it very easy and quick to continuously calibrate your monitor and make sure it's as close as possible to where you need it.
What kind of auto calibration is it?
Gustav, do you know the answer to that?
Yeah, we use in the front, we use, let's say, a simple version for the sensor is the X-Rite sensor. So it's very cost effective, but we also supporting spec boss. ET spec boss, very common here in the European field as a high grade sensor. Both can be operated from the front side of the panel. So because the software, calibration software is built into the monitor. So very easy even on the field use. And typical calibration with the X-Rite sensor, typical calibration time is around about 10 minutes. And with a spec boss, because it's getting more precise and needs more integration time, that's around about 30 minutes to 45 minutes calibration, auto calibration time. But furthermore, of course, you have also to do choice that you can use 3D profile, and you, with external software, you can create also your own 3D profile and can load it into the display.
Thank you. Okay, well, if no other questions, then thank you very much for coming. And again, please visit the booth. Thank you very much.